The used car buying experience. For you, that means a transparent deal on only quality inspected cars by our own mechanics. And great extras like free oil changes, free tows, and discounted service after the sale. We are the buy here, pay here car dealership you can trust. So come see us at 352 West Morford Street in McMinnville. Express Motors, where peace of mind and car buying come together. See our inventory now at expressmotorstn.com.
Today, mostly cloudy skies with a chance of showers throughout the day and a few thunderstorms, high near 59. Light winds shifting to the north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts up to 20 miles per hour. Rain chance today is 50%, mostly light rain with heavier storms this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy and cooler with a low around 38, light north wind becoming calm overnight. Fun fact, cool air holds less moisture than warm air. That's why you see dew, fog, or frost form when the temperature drops. Keep shining. This is Tisha with your weather.
It's time for Simmons Says, the show that brings Warren County the latest news and stories from around the community. Hosted by Jeff Simmons, this program dives into everything from local events to major headlines. Stay tuned and stay informed.
Hello and welcome to the Simmons Says radio show here on WBMC 97.7 FM. Getting everything shared up on social media so everybody can watch us and have a good time there if you want to. Also, thank you so much to the people out there listening on WBMC 97.7 FM and also the people listening on the WBMC app. I would tease and tell them that they could call in, but I think our phone lines are still down. And worse yet, I can't even get an answer over the air because Connor's mic is off. He's over there shaking his head. I guarantee you he'll get into the comment section and I'll be able to read some of his comments there. But we're here. It's right. Friday, which means you already know on the Simmons Says program, we're Father and Son Friday. Which means my dad's here. Dad, what's up?
Not much, little Jeffy. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I got some energy this morning. We're in good shape. I got my Diet Coke. I'm feeling pretty strong. What about you?
You only got 12 ounces today? Wow.
Hey, we're trying to work economically around
tariffs. Here. That's it, right? You can only get 12 ounces worth, right?
Yeah. But
really hit the Diet Coke hard.
The Diet Coke market's really just being pinched.
Or did you make somebody at Sonic mad?
No.
Because I noticed you got a can instead of a cup.
Yeah. Oh.
Didn't have time to stop by there today?
No, I think that...
What's the young lady's name? There's two of them with the same name. Jamie.
They're Jamie. Yeah, both Jamie. No, what happened was I think that my fine owners here at Main Street Media started realizing that if they put Diet Coke out, that I might be happier like throughout the entire day.
Oh, yeah.
So there's just a fridge full of Diet Coke. So at any point I can go get it. So I was like,
are you saying that there are parts of the day that little Jeffy is not as affable as he usually is?
No.
Without his caffeine and his cola?
I wouldn't think that that's what it would be, but I wouldn't say that that's not what happens either.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. All right. So hey, if you're out on Facebook right now, give us a like, give us a share, and make sure you get in the comment section, have a good time because we're going to talk about a lot of different things today. Mostly, as we say, on Father and Son Friday, got to get coached up. This is my first coach. This is my life coach. This is a guy that's always been able to give me a little bit of advice. So he always gets through, watches most of our programs.
I watch them all.
Minute to minute. I mean, every minute of it. He catches it all. What do we got to get coached up on this week?
Well, let's start out with cleaning a few things up.
Okay.
Number one, congratulations on getting to 1,000 followers.
Thank you so much.
When I heard that today, I thought, wow, that's a major accordishment.
I like to think so. I think we can get to 2,000 before it's all said and done.
That's what I was going to ask. What is your goal?
Next, we don't have it. The destination's like 100,000, but the next goal's 2,000. Hopefully, we can maybe get that done by graduation.
Well, I knew that the destination was always world domination. That's
yes.
Since you were a child,
like Pinky in the Brain.
That's world domination. You've always wanted to do that. The other thing I wanted to clean up was to apologize to you.
Okay.
I heard the other night that I made you angry for like 3 seconds.
No, more Trev, but you were in there.
You brought it up.
Well, let's get there just for a second.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
No, you are not wrong.
I was
and
saying,
that's why I'm apologizing.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Trev was it's not. And I told Trev this last night on our live stream that our rain out live stream.
Yeah, whoa, that was a heck of a rain out too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I watched that the whole time. I was like, "There's not a drop of rain that has hit that field, and they're not going to play." But then apparently, it did open up and pour. For a while. So it was a good. It was the right.
It was a good call.
It was the right call. I told
if
Trev
anybody's seen the radar, yeah.
I told him, I was like, it just had that tinge of, hey, you coach at Boyd, it's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, that's why it irritated me. But I know that's not what Trev was trying to do, and I know that was what you weren't trying to do that at all, but that's where I got the irritation. Because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, especially when you sent it, I was like, you would never miss a game coaching. Yeah. Especially when, and this is
9-year-old boys too.
Yeah, and we had some kids come over to the gym last night, and we're shooting and trying to get in. Hey, it's spring work, but it's time to get better, and they're over there trying to get better. And one of them was talking about it, and I said the biggest thing to me was, if it was, hey, I have to stay back and work. Taylor Swift is coming in to be on the Simmons Says show.
Ooh.
I don't think any of the 10 girls or 12 girls or how many ever girls we're going to end up having, I hope we're having around 12. I think we'll have about a dozen this year. I think they would say, I think it's okay for Jeff to miss.
Oh, they would want to be with you.
Yeah, they'd probably say, hey, can we miss? And all of us come meet Taylor Swift with you.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they're going to like the explanation of, sorry, can't go. I'm going to go run a 5K when they know you don't run a day of your life. You'd rather stay home to do something you don't want to do than come with us. That was the one where I'm like, there's no argument here. I was like, there's no way I'm leaving. I was like, no way I'm telling the girls, sorry, can't be there.
Well, I was just going to make sure you understood that it was just in jest.
I know.
Just in jest. And I know how passionate you are about Lady Broncos basketball, which is, it makes my heart feel good to see you really into something like that, or like this radio show too. So
yeah, I appreciate it.
Those things are good.
Yeah, but we can make. We're good. We're good.
All right, just making sure. Want to keep things copacetic.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, I mean we don't. Hey, we don't want anybody coming over here thinking Father and Son Friday is going to turn into a fist fight.
Well, it wouldn't be much of a fight.
Coach Ballou said just came in. Did you say Taylor Swift is going to be on the show? No, I do. Hey, he said he's going to wear his shirt that day. Coach, if we ever get so big that we bring in Taylor Swift, I'll have you on the show as well with me on that day. No, it was just an example.
There was an extra A in there.
There was a big if in there.
It's Tyler Swift is going to be here.
Now you're going to get me in trouble. Connor's looking up Tyler Swift right now. He's going to find somebody.
Easy, Connor. That was just a poor attempt at humor as well.
Well, Connor just put in the comments, does Jeff know something we don't know? Is T Swift going to announce her newest breakup on the Simmons Says? No, man. We know for if you're a Swiftie, you already know. She announces those in albums.
Jeff and her have been secretly dating online. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's definitely
her next song is about Jeff.
Yeah, sure. I don't know this guy or stalker.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, hey, man, the myth, the legend. That might work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what else we got to clear? What else do we got to clean up?
Your talk about Gino versus Pat.
Ooh, yeah, I knew this was going to get you fired up.
Yeah, that really got me fired up. But you know what? I got to really thinking about that after listening to your show that day. And then again, Wednesday, y'all talked about it a lot and really rehashed a lot of really good points. And, you really can't argue with a head-to-head.
No.
Or the total championships.
No.
Those two things really. But you never know what Pat would have done.
Fair.
That's the big thing. And the argument that I always used to use, like 10, 15 years ago is the difference in the conferences they played in. It was a lot tougher to play in the SEC than it was in the whatever there's his All-American Conference or Big East or what. I mean, they've been in like 50 different ones, but they don't play much competition.
Now you sound like Jack Nicklaus talking about Phil Mickelson this week. Does he even play golf anymore?
Oh yeah.
Was he play what leagues he play golf in anymore? It's a good point.
It is a good point, but in the end, he still won the championships. Doesn't matter who he beat to get there along the way.
Yeah.
That might have made a difference in his total number of wins. But again, had Pat been healthy, she'd probably still be coaching, and she'd be adding to her win total, I'm sure. Yep. Now, would she have won any championships? Yeah, that's debatable or not. But the biggest difference to me is the way they went about getting things done. And I wouldn't swap Pat for Gino, even for all the championships that he won or any other accomplishments he's got, because I think Pat did it the way that most Southerners would. Yep. Gino did it the way a Philly guy would do it. Yeah. And, I don't begrudge Gino because of the way that he did things. I don't like him. Yeah. But it's what he felt like he needed to do to promote his program, promote his team, and, it worked. Yeah. Obviously, it worked.
It's worked really well for him. Me and Sullins talked about it a lot after because Sullins was the same way. He's like, yeah, you can. The successful thing you can't argue. I mean, the numbers are the numbers.
Oh yeah, numbers are numbers.
But he said, is basketball even basketball, women's basketball, without Pat Summitt and what she did for the sport? I said, I think that's where you're in total agreement. It goes down to me. A lot of it goes back to me, and we brought this up on the Sports Authority. A lot of it tends back to like Peyton versus Tom Brady. Yeah, is the fact that you can't argue Tom Brady's success against Peyton Manning's success, either on wins or even statistics, because he trumps him in both. But Peyton Manning had a serious injury that really retired him a lot earlier. I mean, my thought process is if Tom Brady could play till he's 45, Peyton Manning would have played till he was 45 if he was healthy.
If he was healthy,
they were built the same way, wired the same way. Two, it's kind of what we always talk about as well, is Peyton revolutionized that position, and Brady followed that suit and just continued it.
He was a beneficiary of that change.
Whereas Peyton had to forge the change.
That's right, because the league was totally different before Peyton came in.
Yeah, and then I think that's a lot of the same lines of Pat Summitt had to create this sport and make it, and then all of a sudden it became booming, and Gino got to say, "Oh, okay, cool. If I can do some things, and maybe not exactly like her, like you said, with my own style, my own flair,
my Philly style,
my Philly style, that he'd have a good chance of it. Yeah, I think that
that's true. And Pat always recognized the people that came before her too. Yeah, and that was a good thing. And she was all about her girls graduating. That was the thing about Pat that always stuck out to me. Mm-hmm. Everybody that ever played for her graduated and got a degree. That's a good thing. Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, you're just never going to beat the totality of how she coached and ran a program. But, again, of course, you can beat – I mean, it's not even – he is not the only one that's topped her win total at this point. I mean, I think was it the Stanford coach that also passed him too? So, yeah. But hey, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back on the Simmons Says program, I think Dad's got some other business to attend to. So when we come back on the Simmons Says program, we'll let him roll out the red carpet. Okay.
Two young lovers with nothing better to do than sit around the house, get high and watch a tube. And here's what happened when they decided to cut loose.
30 years. Just how long is that? Well, 30 years ago, the World Wide Web didn't exist. No iPhones, no flat-screen televisions, and no Netflix. You might have installed AOL using a floppy disk. Yep, 30 years is a long time. And to stay in business for 30 plus years, well, you have to do things the right way, especially in the last 30 years, when things have changed so much. The Rogers family has done it the right way, building a car dealership with a focus on integrity, treating people the right way, making fair deals. No tired car dealership cliches. The Rogers really forged a different way to buy a car. It's a hometown-friendly feel. Ed Rogers Valley Ford. 30 years of doing business the right way. 111 Auto Lane, Sparta. And online, edrogersvalleyford.com. Ed Rogers Valley Ford. Same ownership, same customer service for 30 years with that friendly hometown feel.
At Pioneer Building Supply, we're your one-stop shop for lumber, tools, and building supplies. Whether you're tackling a major renovation or just need a few materials for a small project, we've got you covered. From framing to finishing touches, we have the products and expertise to help you get the job done right. Stop by and see us today at 231 Northgate Drive, Suite 250, Meckmanville, or give us a call at 931-473-7777. Our friendly, knowledgeable team is always ready to help you with whatever you need for your next project. For 50 years, Pioneer Building Supply has been the trusted name in construction materials. We've built our reputation on quality, service, and the commitment to your success. Pioneer Building Supply, building your dreams since 1975.
Pioneer Building Supply.
Pioneer Building Supply, where good business make good friends.
Pioneer Building Supply.
I'm sitting here with Newt from Newt's Barbecue. Newt, can you tell me what's going on with your special recipes lately?
Legacy recipes from legends in Tennessee. My mother and father from Denny Moore's Russia, we use their recipes. Pope Taylor, we use his recipe, as well as Justin Wilson's Cajun cooking recipes. So we're a little different. We're lucky. We've got good recipes that we follow to the hilt every day.
Visit Newt's Barbecue in Rock Island.
Warehouse Discount Grocery serving McMinnville and Warden County with the best meats, freshest produce, and the best prices on all your favorite groceries. Preferred Angus T-bone steaks family pack, $8.99 a pound. Fresh 73% lean ground beef family pack, $3.49 a pound. Martha White self-rising flour or cornmeal 5-pound bag, $2.99. Be sure to check out the full-service deli featuring meats from Charter Reserve, open 7 days a week at 835 Smithville Highway. That's Warehouse Discount Groceries, or WDG.
I don't need your rocking chair, your Geritol or your Medicare. Well, I still got me on.
Thank you, Connor, and we are back. And by the way, I do need that rocking chair. So if you find out where he's got it, please let me know so I can get it. Monday on Jeff's show, there was a young lady here, Leila Beatty, very charming guest. And Jeff and her had a question that was asked about what his, if he was going to be a kitchen utensil, what would it be and why? And Jeff answered very quickly, microwave, because he could heat up really quickly. Okay? And the answer was met with applause and a little bit of laughter. And after that, there was music played where Jeff had won. But today we're going to make sure that the crowning is completed. So with little further ado,
Play my
Jeff.
music. Play my music. My pageant music.
Yes.
Put me on the screen, folks. Yes.
Yes.
I'm the man, the myth, and the legend.
Yes.
Jeff Simmons. I'm decorated here. I got my crown
And your scepter.
and my scepter.
Now you can lord over everybody.
Let's see, are we the queen of Main Street in the morning? I'm the king of Main Street media.
Yes.
I'm now the king.
The king
Yes, play
of
my
morning
music.
radio. There we go.
I'm making full demands this morning.
That's right.
My name is Jeff. We got more remixes. Yeah, but no, hey, I got my scepter, got my crown, I got my sash, the man, the myth, and the legend ready to go here. And I got my headphones on, but barely anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll see how long this crown lasts before we're in trouble here.
We just want to make sure it was official.
Yeah.
That everybody understood that you are the king.
I am the king.
You
Yeah.
won the pageant.
I want it. And also before we get actually. You had
Watch
you had
that.
a debate.
Don't hit me with that scepter.
You actually told me that you think my answer should have been disqualified.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I was thinking, she said utensil. And I went back and listened to that like 50 times.
Yeah.
She said, if you were going to be a kitchen utensil, what would you be?
Yeah.
And your answer was microwave. And I kept thinking, and, because I'm not too smart on those things in the kitchen either. So I asked Emily several times, I said, now, is a microwave a utensil?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, no. No, that is an appliance. So yes, your answer would have disqualified you, but and maybe nobody else pointed that out, but I did notice that.
Well, Leila said I'd won. I feel like
She did.
Yeah.
And they played the music. It's over.
They played the music. In fact, I think we played some Godfather music at some
It
point
was.
in there. It was definitely that, which we actually had a good joke about too, because I think the cannoli was brought out on Town Talk this morning, and you and I both was like, "Oh, wait, easy now."
Somebody's getting bumped off today. I don't know who's going to be missing after the show today, but hey, when there's cannoli involved, there's usually a gun involved.
Well, Connor says on the radio WBNC 97.7 comment says that if Jeff's a utensil, then I feel like Jeff would be a spork.
Spork.
Like
all purpose.
And not even like you went and bought a spork, like the KFC spork.
Okay.
Of which I had
a plastic spork.
Y'all would be almost it would almost be embarrassing to send a picture of. I have an entire kitchen drawer in my house. It is full of
plastic sporks.
Is the utensils they give you at like fast food places or stuff like that. Because I've been so many times that I have just like extras. Yeah. So anytime that, like if I want to, I was like, I don't even have to use like any kind of my actual utensils. I could do this for probably a month before I'd run out.
That's something to be very proud of.
Very, very proud of that.
Hey, also, I am very proud of you for that.
I'm proud of that. And hey, you know who I'm proud of? I'm proud of Douglas and Lanier, because Simmons Says program is brought to you by Douglas Lanier, your hometown insurance expert specializing in commercial coverage for agriculture, contractors, and workers' comp. They protect businesses big and small. Trust a team that knows hard work, smart coverage, straight talk. That's Douglas and Lanier, 474-0044. 811 Faulkner Springs Road, Douglas and Lanier. Seems useful, but always disappoints. He's talking about the spork. He's not talking about Douglas and Lanier, because they have that smart coverage and straight talk. Yeah, I like that Douglas and Lanier, man. But yeah, I have no idea where this goes.
People on radio can't see you.
If the
so
people
you
at the
need
radio,
to explain what you have.
I would say, I have a scepter. I have a crown that does not fit at all, but I have a sash that will live forever. The man, the myth, and the legend.
That's right.
Which, I mean, we've talked about this before on the
Jeffrey
show.
Legend.
Jeffrey Legend.
Yes.
It was already something that was big time. Now we've went completely overboard with it. Jessica Raper says that this is still a better look than the T-shirts. And Adam Simmons.
Oh,
Adam's on here.
Yeah.
Says Simmons 316 says my name is Jeff. I assume.
Yeah.
All right. I don't even know.
Cultural misappropriation again.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But hey, let's go back to the Leela interview. You said how you watched that.
I did.
I've gotten to talk to Leah.
Very impressive young lady.
My goodness. The outlook in life is inspirational. Is the easiest word to say about it. It's motivating too, in the sense that I mean she lets nothing. She doesn't have to have a round to it coin.
No.
She's already around to it on everything. And did you have any more from that meeting? Because I'm telling you, I was blown away. I'm blown away every time I get to talk to her.
I was too. It just makes you proud to be from Warren County and McMinnville when you see people like that. I've been living here since 1970. I mean, I know you've lived here all of your life, but it never ceases to amaze me the amazing people that are from Warren County, this small place. It really makes you proud to be a Warren County.
Yeah, and then we had some more. Yeah, Bright and Mickey Ralph came in on Wednesday.
Yeah,
they were having a good time.
A little talk about that too. Yeah.
Go through.
Well, no, I want to give you a second chance to answer the question.
Oh.
Too.
Can I steal Connor's answer and say sport?
Oh, you can say that. But Emily and I talked about it a lot. We always figured that you'd be a spoon because you like to stir things up.
Ooh.
How does that sound?
Yeah, but like we're not talking about just like a little spoon. We're talking about that one
big spoon.
We're talking about that gigantic spoon that I use to dip out all my sides or something. Yeah. Like not one of those like little tiny ones or the teaspoon or anything like that. We're talking about the gigantic serving spoon.
That's right. The gigantic serving spoon that you used to use to get half a gallon of ice cream in one bowl. Yeah.
Or
and I eat the other half.
Or the big spoon when it was like, hey, I'm gonna go make a bowl of cereal, and it's like, hey, we got these little bowls of cereals. No. Give me the mixing bowl.
That's right. The Jethro Bodine bowl.
Yeah, the Jethro Bodine bowl.
Yeah.
Go, let me get the mixing bowl, pour out half the entire box of cereal,
That's
then probably like not an entire half gallon of milk, but probably
Close.
like half of a half gallon of milk, and that spoon.
That's right.
That's the spoon that I
That's
would
the
be.
spoon.
Yeah. That's not
Big
bad.
Spoon.
The Big Spoon.
That'd be your wrestling name. Big Spoon.
Man.
Big Spoon.
Connor's going to start cutting out a lot of these things. He's so angry he doesn't have a mic today. I guarantee it. I've seen people now starting to take pictures through the window. We have no idea what's going to end up going here. It does say it's going to be incredibly hard to listen to you switch to more serious topics in your crayon. The dancing bear strikes again. I'm okay with it.
The dancing bear. Do you know where that started?
No, what's up?
Captain Kangaroo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They had a dancing bear on Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah.
You don't even remember Captain Kangaroo.
No,
do you?
I do remember somebody said that he ended up being a little bit like, Jessica Raper says more like a ladle.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. See? Thanks, Jessica. Hey, this is what happens. Jessica was watching all the way from Utah earlier this week.
Yeah.
And now I'm assuming she's back down there in the Sunshine State. I mean, the Simmons Says audience
Far
is
and wide.
nationwide.
That's why you're wearing the crown.
That's why I'm the crown.
That's why you have the scepter.
That's why I'm the king of Main Street media.
You are the man, the myth,
Mabry,
the legend.
Grace, McDonald, you hear that? That's going to go over well. Hey, we're gonna
Heavy sits the crown.
WBSC. Back in Florida, you're nationwide. Thank you so much, Jessica. All right. Well, we're going to thank again. We want to thank again Douglas Lanier, 474-0044, 811 Faulkner Springs Road. Thank y'all so much for your sponsorship. When we come back, we might get into some serious topics at some point here on the Simmons Says Show.
We need to talk a little bit more about the Ralphs and being on here for sure.
Sounds good. We'll be back.
Moonlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you.
Talk Radio, WBMC News is next.
So you're a current Ben Lomond Fiber customer and you haven't added Ben Lomond Home yet. Here's what you're missing out on. A dual-band Wi-Fi 6 GigaSpire Blast router that should anything ever happen to it, we replace it free of charge. A smartphone app that allows you to change your network password, pause the internet to individual devices, and so much more. Plus in-depth device troubleshooting with our local 24/7 customer support center. All that for less than 10 cents a day. Stop missing out and add Ben Lomond Home today.
In the Main Street Journal news, the city of McMinnville recently approved 2 zoning charges on first read. The first reclassifies the former Blue Building at 211 West Colville Street from medium-density residential to general commercial, allowing for a coffee shop, restaurant, and residential units as part of the Southern Blue Townhouses project. The second change splits a lot at 106 Rosewood Lane and rezones part from a low-density residential to smart growth residential, supporting new development. Both measures passed unanimously and will require a second reading for final approval. In other news, the Warren County Animal Control and Adoption Center is launching its new website today. It will provide shelter information, adoption details, donation options, and updates on animal care, including spaying and neutering status. Currently, the shelter has 53 dogs, 5 cats, and ongoing adoptions. For more information, subscribe to www.mainstreetjournal.llc. With the news, I'm Justin Reed.
Main Street Journal. Main Street Journal. Main Street Journal. Main Street Journal. Main Street Journal.
From local sports with Jeff Simmons to breaking stories from editor-in-chief Rob Nunley, MainStreetJournal.llc brings you sports, local government, schools, events, and business news. It's the best team of journalists in town, and they're just a click away. Subscribe now at MainStreetJournal.llc.
Today, mostly cloudy skies with a chance of showers throughout the day and a few thunderstorms, high near 59. Light winds shifting to the north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts up to 20 miles per hour. Rain chance today is 50%, mostly light rain with heavier storms this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy and cooler with a low around 38, light north wind becoming calm overnight. Fun fact, cool air holds less moisture than warm air. That's why you see dew, fog, or frost form when the temperature drops. Keep shining. This is Tisha with your weather.
When your legs don't work like they used to before. And I can't sweep you off.
Welcome back to the Simmons Says radio show here on WBMC 97.7 FM. Honestly, I was waiting to let it run. I had no idea. I was like, sometimes Connor might have a remix.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, we'll see where this goes.
I definitely know how that feels when your legs don't work like anymore.
Yeah. I'm over here trying to post at the same time that I'm trying to talk on the radio, so that's always what you want to see.
Multitasker.
Multitasking.
That's what a king would do.
Yeah.
King has to.
Hey, you got to rule with an iron fist.
That's right. Well, I don't know about that.
I'm a man of the people.
That you are.
Yeah.
My liege.
Before we get into more talking about what things that we could discuss, what we could coach up this week, we'll want to make sure we thank Reddick Brown Ford over there on 5917 Manchester Highway, Morrison, Tennessee. Hey, don't we all like businesses that are making good faith actions in the community? Well, Reddick Brown Ford is. On Good Friday, next Friday, April 18th, they will be holding their Easter celebration. It'll run from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m., and they will also be doing food, treats. I mean, they got a pre-registration coloring page. You can go grab that, and you have to return it today to be able to get entered in the coloring contest prize. I mean, they're going to have a special guest. Guess who they're going to have as a special guest on Easter weekend?
Taylor Swift.
The Easter Bunny.
Well, okay.
Yeah, close.
Yeah,
very close. But their annual Easter celebration will be going from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. over on April 18th over there at Reddick Brown Ford. Just take that quick drive out on 55.
Yeah.
All right. We were talking about does if I'm the king, does that make Connor the jester?
Ooh.
I don't know. I think maybe.
Could be.
I'll make that decree later. Really gonna play into this.
You had to think about that.
I'm gonna have to think about that one a little
bit. A king
bit.
cannot make rash decisions.
No, you can't be making hasty decisions.
No, absolutely not.
Well, we talked about having Leela Beatty on Monday, but Nick Stern came in on Tuesday. We had the Ralphs on Wednesday, and
well, let's go day by day.
Go ahead. So,
well, one of the things you talked about on Monday was other than Pat Summitt, in your Simmons Says, is rhymes that you heard as a child.
Yeah.
And the one you brought about was April showers bring May flowers. Another one was an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I mean, there's several.
Yep.
But I want to talk about some ones that, after somebody explained them to you, they might have made sense. But the first time you heard them, you were like scratching your head. Like never look a gift horse in the mouth. Okay. I'm pretty sure you should never look a horse in the mouth, whether it's a gift horse or any other kind of horse, unless, you're a doctor.
Yeah, unless you're like
you're a veterinarian. Dentist. That's right. You're a horse whisperer. I mean, you're listening to it. I don't know. You might be a dentist.
Yeah.
But where did that come from, I wonder? The first person that said never look a gift horse in the mouth, was that like the people in Troy? I don't know.
Perhaps.
Okay.
That's just a movie. That didn't happen.
Probably not the way they put it. I'd like to have seen the size of that horse and how many soldiers were actually in there. But anyway, the other one was don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, would anybody really do that?
Somebody did.
I mean, you forgot the baby was in the bathwater and you just threw the bathwater out? I don't understand that one.
No.
I never did. And then another one is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Well, when I was a kid and Grandma went down to get the eggs out of the chicken house or chicken coop, she only carried one basket. So I'm starting to worry. I mean, was my grandma wrong? Just taking the one? should she have taken like 5 different baskets with her when she went to the chicken coop?
Who are all these people that had multiple baskets?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And how many eggs were they getting?
Goodness gracious. Yeah.
I mean, Grandma just came back with
one basket
full, and she put all of her eggs in one basket. So I always worried about that. There are so many of those sayings that used to be that are just very confusing to me.
Very confusing. Yeah.
And how they got started.
Yeah, I mean, these colloquialisms and everything that you get a lot of them around here too. There's a lot more that even we probably use that you're just I can't think of any of them off the top of my head that you're like, that makes no sense.
Well, all of those make sense when they're explained to you,
Yeah.
but they all had to be explained to me when I was a child because I was horrified the first time I heard "Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater." I'm like, people did that? No, surely not.
No, somebody did. It happened. It had to have happened at least once.
That was a lot of bathwater,
That's all
too.
it took. That's all it took for people to go through.
Yeah.
Well, so that was Monday. What happened on Tuesday?
Well, Tuesday was the 2
Next time.
cents with a nickel back.
Mhm.
You talked a lot about coaching, and we can get into that later.
Yeah.
I've got lots of thoughts on coaching. But the other thing is you were talking about people that you want to play for, or in my instance, people that you like to work with. Those things are a lot different for sure. And Tuesday you also had
Nick Stern.
Yeah, Nick Stern in talking about golf, which was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And his picks for the winner at the Masters, that's going to be interesting.
I think Ludwig von Beethoven Augsburg is doing pretty well.
He's doing very well.
I think he was tied for second after the first day with Scheffler.
But it's early.
Now, Rory, I don't think – I know he was – sentimental pick was trying to back Rory, and I don't think that was going well for him.
Not really.
No.
Did you watch any yesterday?
I got to watch a little bit. I went to lunch at Mud Bums and got to watch it a little bit.
The scores were very, very low yesterday. I was really surprised by that, but it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
For sure. We'll see how that goes for the rest of the week anyway.
I'm sure I'll watch a little bit. I think I'll watch a little bit more today and probably a lot more over the weekend.
Well, you said the other day that I was supposed to fill up enough airtime that you could be watching it on your computer while I was talking.
We actually were going to put it on this TV right here, and don't tempt me with a good time. I could probably still do that for the D block.
Yeah. And then let's talk about Wednesday. I mean, Nick was a very fascinating guest.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that he would make for a good show in and of his own once a week, or at least during the summer anyway. But on Wednesday, you brought the Ralphs in.
Yeah.
Fine group of people, for sure. I knew Mickey and several of his brothers when I was in school, and they were all really good athletes.
I know where this is going, though.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first thing is that he said that you could run with 2 months of training.
2 months of training.
2 months of training that you could run 3 12-minute miles, 36 minutes. He thinks that would be a good goal.
That's a great goal.
Well, my first question is how many miles did you put in last week?
Last week, not that many. This week, more.
Oh,
my steps are up about 1,500 to 2,000 more steps a day right now than they were last week.
Okay, is your goal to work up from walking to running at some point?
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I really. This is what people. This is the one thing that everybody keeps bringing up, and they're like, "You can run it and run it and run it." I'm like, "Hey, I got to get physically able to be able to run."
Right.
Like right now, like I woke up this morning with. I've woke up almost every morning this week with both my calves cramping.
Oh,
like
are you not hydrating enough?
Apparently, obviously not for the work for all the extra walking I'm doing. So I'm gonna have to. I was like, I don't think people really realize just how daunting it could be to go from doing nothing to trying to do a lot of something. Especially when the fact is, I'll outweigh the Ralphs by myself. Like those two Ralphs that were in here the other day, I guarantee you I weigh more than both of them combined.
He could probably bring a couple of more of his brothers in,
maybe.
and he'd still outweigh them.
Yeah, someone said eat more bananas. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of different things I'm going to have to do to adjust, but yeah.
Potassium.
It's there's still a lot of things that I got that are still going to have to do before I can really just even run a mile, much less 3 miles.
But again, the thing is to get started.
Round to it, man.
Well, it's like those things we're talking about. A rolling stone gathers no moss.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, there was another thing that they did that was crazy. And
Yes.
I think you were.
I brought that up. I mean, the day that he said it. I mean, when he said that, you asked him about cheat meals, and they said a Dr. Pepper every now and then, or a mini Blizzard. I'm so proud that they can say that. Well, I don't know that I could say that. I'm like 10 mini Blizzards might be a snack. Hey, it's not a cheat meal. That's a snack.
I'm like the king of the one, like when everybody goes and sells those little smart cards all around, and almost all the time you have like the buy one Blizzard, get one for free, or buy one, get one for 99 cents. Like I used to be the king of just buying those and just going and like once a week going to Dairy Queen and be like, okay, I'll take a large strawberry cheesecake and a large Oreo.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I got the buy one, get one 99 cents.
Well,
and then I was like, hey, I'm not, and let's be honest, I don't care. I don't know where you can put those bad boys save.
Yeah.
Like even if you you can't really put a Frosty in you can't, no, sorry, not Frosty.
Not Frosty.
Blizzard.
That's right.
You can't really put a Blizzard in a fridge and it's safe. It's going to go bad. And you can't really put it in the freezer because it'll freeze, and it's not that good. So you got to just have to eat those.
Yeah.
Within about an hour,
you
hour
have
and a
to.
half.
I mean, you just have to.
So, yeah, he's talking about eating a mini Blizzard for a cheat meal. I'm talking about, like, going and getting 2 Blizzards after I've probably had dinner. So, we're not the same.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I was listening to that show, and I was thinking, wow, I'm fired up. Mickey's about my age. Yeah. We're very close in age, and here he is running half marathons and marathons, and I'm thinking, I could do this. All I need to do is ramp up from walking all the time to start jogging and to running, and I can do this.
Yeah. In 2 months, you could be running 12-minute miles.
Right, and then I was already mapping out a strategy for what I was going to do, and then he said that his cheat meals were a Dr. Pepper and a mini Blizzard, and I was like, nah, I don't think so.
And then your map took you to Hardee's. Your walking trail took you straight to the ice cream aisle at the grocery store.
Dairy Queen, and then I went to Wendy's to get a Frosty so I could compare the two. Yeah. I said, which one of these is a better snack here, or a treat?
We've had some good guests this week.
You have had some great guests, and I tell you, Mickey is an inspiration.
He's a really good guy.
To me, anyway. I mean, that guy. He was always been a good athlete.
Hey, next Friday, get over there to Reddit Brown Ford, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can go to their Easter celebration. Meet the Easter Bunny. We'll be back on the Simmons Says Show here on WBMC 97.7 FM.
That night till the morning came around. Set out to run, but I take my time. A friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Ran into the devil, baby, lonely twin.
Douglas and Lanier, that's where I choose to be. Douglas and Lanier, that's the agency for me.
For rock-solid insurance coverage or sound financial planning for my family's future, Douglas and Lanier is where I choose to call home.
Call Douglas and Lanier, your local Erie agents, at 811 Faulkner Springs Road, McMinnville, at 931-474-0044.
Make the places you care about more comfortable and energy efficient with TVA Energy Right. It all starts at EnergyRight.com, where you can find everything you need to lower your energy usage for your home or your business. Contact Caney Fork Electric Energy Advisors Dale or Chris at 931-473-3116 or go to EnergyRight.com to start living and working more energy efficiently. Caney Fork Electric along with EnergyRight.com for all your energy needs. Brought to you by Caney Fork Electric Cooperative and TVA.
Are you tired of being judged? Well, we here at USA Gym are too. We come in all different shapes and sizes with a variety of goals and ideas. At USA Gym, we are 29,000 square feet with a huge variety of equipment in different rooms. And we're not done yet. Classes, we have those too. Zumba, yoga, pound, barre, step, body sculpting, spinning, and an abs class. We have 2 separate free weight areas with dumbbells that go up to 150 pounds. Muscle Beach gives you the option of working out outside. Come check us out. 473-9355.
Oh,
Now, why won't this work?
Don't lose your cool. Call Black's Heating and Air for a preseason check-in service on your central air conditioning system. It can increase the life and dependability of your unit while reducing the chances of a very sticky situation.
Unbelievable!
Get that air conditioner checked now.
This is Benny Black.
And this is Seth Black with Black's Heating and Air.
Call today, 931-668-0785.
Benny's slogan at Black's Heating and Air is, once you've had Black, you won't go back.
Mention this ad and you can get a discount.
Hi, this is Chris from Reddick Brown Ford in Morrison. In the market for a new truck? We have a huge inventory of new Ford F-150s and Super Duty trucks. Whether you need power for off-road adventures or reliability for work, we've got you covered. We offer great value and customer satisfaction that can't be beat. Our store is also the recipient of the 2023 Ford President's Award. It's no wonder folks say it's worth the drive to Highway 55. Reddick Brown Ford in Morrison or online at reddickbrownford.com.
Talk Radio WBMC McMinnville, 960 AM and 97.7 FM. WBMCRadio.com.
All right, hello, welcome back to the Simmons Says program here on WBMC 97.7 FM. I want to make sure we take time to tell everybody about the cafe at Tree City. Coffee and cobbler this week. Make sure you can see, hey, this is the only week for this special. You can go and get a peach cobbler, a blackberry cobbler, or a cherry cobbler, and you will also receive a free 12-ounce cup of cafe's drip coffee, freshly brewed with beans from the Rusty Bucket, a local McMinnville roaster that is over there at 809 Sparta Street. The cafe at Tree City is open daily from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you came back and you're watching the program on Facebook, if you're on the radio, you didn't even understand that I had a scepter and a crown on for the last 30 minutes. But if you were watching on Facebook and you're looking and saying, he took everything off. Gotta get serious for a moment, Connor. Last night, they had a special called meeting for the county commission. And it wasn't the full county commission. It was basically a committee to recommend whether or not they were going to take it to the full board about the rock quarry. More so was whether or not they want to enact the county powers, look in to see whether or not they want to do the county powers, give permission to the county to adopt the County Powers Act. And it went 5-0, unanimous. Which does not surprise me in the least. In fact, when I think about that, I don't think of the five votes that came cast last night as we're for the County Powers Act. I take it as they are for it going to the full board for whether or not they want to vote on that. So I'm taking the 5-0 vote last night as a grain of salt. They almost had to do that. If you want to read about this, go to the Main Street Journal. Rob Nunley. This is the only place you're going to read about it. Last night, at the very least, and honestly, I think it's about the only place you're going to read about it anywhere locally. And he posted the story. Over 100 Deborah residents showed up. 15 Deborah residents spoke. They were impassioned about the things that they were talking about the area and how it needs to be protected and all the community and everything. So they were very happy that that they were pushing this County Powers Act. Somebody sent me what this kind of looks like when you read it. And one of them, it said, define, prohibit, abate, suppress, prevent, and regulate all acts, practices, conduct, businesses, occupations, callings, trades, use of property, and all other things whatsoever detrimental or liable to be detrimental to the health, morals, comfort, safety, convenience, or welfare of the inhabitants of a municipality, and exercise general police powers, and prescribe limits within the business occupations and practices liable to the nuisances and detrimental to the health, morals, security, and general welfare of the people may lawfully be established, conducted, and maintained. Yes, morals was one of the things that were in there.
Wow.
That is a lot of gray area, a lot of different. I mean, when you read that and you have there's no extra thought of, well, they're just going to get rid of the rock quarry. Sure, if they do that, if you enact that, and the County Powers Act goes through, yes, I see everything in there that says that they're probably going to be able to stop a rock quarry from potentially setting up in Dibble. In fact, I think they even changed it and said they wanted to add some wording in there about whether or not they can stop that. And that might be fine this time. But I don't think that's unless you're telling me that they're going to enact the County Powers Act, stop the Dibble rock quarry, and then have another vote to then strip themselves of the county powers responsibility, then all of a sudden you're putting that in and it can go anywhere. I'm very interested in seeing in this county how one of the biggest topics that's happened right now is the rock quarry. But Connor, about, I don't know, a month ago, the biggest conversation in town was Isha. And one of the biggest things that was the scary part of Isha for some people was, well, what if they bring in 10,000 extra people and they all go and vote together and they get everybody in and they vote in the county executive and the county commission and they take over all the stuff. Well, you want to put a County Powers Act together right now that would make the county commission theoretically more powerful than it's ever been, maybe within 10 years of, as people have said with the fear-mongering, is that an entire new community could come into Warren County and try to take it over. How much easier would it be for them to be able to take it over if they did take over, get into the county commission and go through? Again, I'm not saying that's what Isha is going to do. I'm saying that's been the concern of people, that was what Isha was going to do. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, while we're doing that and trying to fight that, we're also going to give the county commission more power when we're scared that if the people had enough power and got to that board, they'd never loosen their grips. Again, Radio WBMC, which is Connor commenting today because he can't get on the speaker, says morals. That's another question. So if you're telling me the County Powers Act's going to go into place, you think that are we going to settle into what a lot of people are going to take that word morals, Connor, that they're talking about, and they're going to try to start rallying their county commission and start going after Isha with that. There's no doubt in my mind that that's what people are going to want them to do. Are you ready for that fight? Is this county ready for that fight? Do you want to make it about a rock quarry right now? And I understand that, but you want to. But in some aspects, we're talking about trying to take down a business locally. I wouldn't even call it a big business, but some business locally by then handing over big government. Dad.
Yes, sir.
You're here. Sorry, I kind of went.
No,
I got a little while there.
I'm enjoying this. I like the passion.
I vote in this community. You vote in this community.
Yes, I do.
And it's and the red wave that everybody was promising about a decade ago is probably really kind of hit locally, because when you look at the national voting in Warren County, it's almost always Republicans. They vote. Warren County supports Republican candidates in every national thing. What about giving the local government, county commission, more power sounds like a Republican-ish thing to do. That makes no sense to me.
No. What we've been voting for, over the last, let's say, 8 to 12 years, that is totally opposite of the philosophy most people would have. I've been telling you since you were a small child that, to me, the smaller government is, the better it is, and the more efficient it can be. And you only need to give government the power that you want them to have. This sounds like a whole lot more power than they actually need. If there's going to be a decision about the rock quarry, it needs to be a community decision. It needs to be voted on, not by a small group of people.
100 people in a county of 40,000 showed up last night.
Exactly. It needs to be a consensus of what everybody wants in the community. If those people in Dibble feel that strongly about it, then they need to voice their opinions, but they can't tell everybody in the rest of the county what to do. And we sure don't need to give the county commission the power to make that decision for everybody here either, without having our voices heard as well.
Yep. All right. we're going to take this into OT because I kind of ran hot there for a second. I
Don't
ran
blame
hot.
me.
And we're going to take this into OT again. The cafe at Tree City 809 Sparta Street. Coffee and cobbler this week. Get that cobbler. Get a free 12-ounce cup of coffee. Drip coffee, freshly brewed from the beans from the Rusty Bucket, a local McMinnville roaster. Stick with us on Facebook right now because I want to get further in this topic, and we got some other things we want to cover from this week. So we're going to go into OT. But thank y'all so much for joining us on WBMC 97.7 FM. The Simmons Says Show will be back at 9 a.m. next Monday.
She's the last true mouthpiece. Every Sunday's getting more bleak. A fresh poison each week. We were born sick, you heard them say it. My church offers no absolutes. She tells me worship in the bedroom. The only heaven I'll be sent to is when I'm alone with you. I was born sick, but I love it. Command me to be well.
Got a fast car, Dad?
No.
You think that's a Luke Bryan version? Or not the Luke Bryan, the Luke Combs version?
I think that was Luke Combs' version.
I think it's the Tracy Chapman
Do
version.
you?
I would almost
Either
guarantee.
one of them is very good.
I know Connor enough now. Yeah, it's definitely the Tracy
That's-
Chapman version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know Connor enough now to know that he would be that it would almost offend him that I would say that's Luke Combs.
Okay.
Yeah. Before we had to wrap up the radio portion of the Simmons Says program today, we were talking about the rock quarry. We were really even talking about the rock quarry. I don't think this is, in some aspects, this is all to me about the County Powers Act and just a little bit about why we're thinking about doing that, which is because of the idea there might be a rock quarry that's going to be coming in to the Dibble area.
Yeah, and people don't need to look past that.
No.
I mean, these are two separate issues.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm on Main Street Journal where you can read about this. In fact, you could have read about it last night. Rob Nunley posted this story last night, and it talks about the Dibble residents erupted in applause Thursday night. First step was taken toward preventing a potential rock quarry in their community. How they're preventing that potentially is by enacting the County Powers Act. And it says specifically Tennessee Code 5118. It has two S's. I'm not really was that state and statutes? The little 2S symbol.
I have no idea.
5118 grants counties through a 2/3 vote of their legislative body the authority to exercise certain powers typically held by municipalities, including defining, regulating, and prohibiting acts and practices, conducts, businesses, occupations, callings, trades, and use of property. That was the county commission's policy and personnel that held that special session last night. A 5-0 vote went through, made it through. Chris Rippey, Steve Glenn, Chairman Tommy Savage, Kenny Moffitt, and Donna Smith passed it. And all they did last night was said they're okay recommending both the County Powers Act and the quarry regulations to the full commission.
Right.
They didn't stop the rock quarry. They didn't enact the County Powers Act. They simply said, we're going to talk about this all the way to the top, which is what you need to do.
Yeah.
But it's going to go to the full commission. And you made a point before we said we talked about this. 100 Dibble residents were there last night.
Talk radio, WBMC News.
And then after that happened, it's going to go to the full commission. So not just the people that represent the Dibble area, but there's people that represent you in the county commission. There's people that represent me over in my district. They're going to have to start getting involved in this, and they're going to have to talk to people. I'm genuinely curious how much of Warren County, again, I will point out, that votes nationally almost 80% Republican, is going to locally seem like they're making a very, I would say, not so much a Republican Party decision here, because that's not. I don't think of that. I don't think of that as a Republican. I don't think that's something that I think of when I think, man, as the Republican Party and nationally, we're really about enabling the government to make a lot of decisions and give them a lot of rope and give them very vague terminology to which they can apply things. Because I mean, we read it before on there.
That's very broad.
Very broad. I mean, you're talking about you can pretty much I know they threw out the 5,000. I know one of the things that they were talking about was the 5,000 foot thing. They were talking about if they did this and enacted it, there would be a 5,000, which basically says you'll never be able to do anything. I mean, within 5,000 feet of like a church or a school or some kind of thing like that. I mean, at the very least, in Warren County, if you have a rule that something can't go in 5,000 feet from a church, it's not coming here.
No. Because there's nowhere in Warren County you're not 5,000 feet from a church
or a school or something like that. So, I mean, when you start throwing stuff like that, you're basically saying you're not gonna. This isn't gonna happen.
And nobody's saying that's a bad thing. By the way,
no, I'm not. I have no problem with that. I'm just saying when you use that terminology, you're basically saying we're using that terminology because we're not going to allow this to happen. And it's the easiest way to term it.
That's right.
Like I said, I have no problem that there's churches everywhere in Warren County. I'm all for it. That's great.
Right.
I don't know, man. I mean, when like I said, with that 5-1-18 that Rob had in its story said specifically code 5-1-1-118. That section 1 has in there on that 5-1 pursuant to the directives of TCA 5-1-118C gives them define, prohibit, abate, suppress, prevent, and regulate all acts, practices, conducts, businesses, occupations. Define.
That's right. That's the county commission doing that.
Define. Mm-hmm. But then B, they can prohibit, abate, suppress, and prevent.
Those are all really bad words.
Those are all very concerning.
Yes.
Would be a good word for it, because I'm telling you, I think everybody says, oh, they'll just stop the rock quarry. Maybe. But also, and again, I know people are like, we've had these same arguments about different businesses or different things that are coming in. One, Rob pointed it out on this show this week, or maybe was it this week or was it last week that we talked about this? Where I think it was the week before, where we pointed out that this would not even, like, people were like, oh, well, what about the chicken farms? We'll get rid of the chicken farms too. Can't get rid of the chicken farms. It's agriculture. That doesn't apply.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden you're going to say, okay, well, what about all the people that were out in Morrison not too long ago fighting that steel company that they didn't want it coming here? At some point, it's like, it's really awkward to me. I pointed this out to somebody last night. I was like, it's really awkward to me that when we continue to say, hey, we don't want any of these businesses, we don't want the Deborah Quarry, we don't want the mixed, and then all of a sudden at the same time we'll talk about, well, there's no jobs here. Everybody's leaving because there's nothing to do here. I'm like, at some point, I'm like, we're also, now we're going to make it even potentially tougher for any business to locate here. Like how many you're going
to let the commission make that decision.
You're basically letting if you let the County Powers Act be passed, 2/3, they're going to need 16 votes out of the 24. If you let that pass, you're also kind of at the end of the day saying, well, y'all got all the decisions on any business that comes here anymore. I mean, literally any business that wants to locate in Warren County at some point would have to be able, and the question becomes, how many people in Warren County have to be up in arms about it before it gets dinged by the County Powers Act?
Right.
I mean, right now it seems like 100 to 200.
It needs to be a majority of people. And I know you're not saying that the people in Dibble don't have a beef.
I don't. Okay. No, I have no problem with people saying, hey, I don't want this right beside my property.
That's right.
I don't have a problem with that. I have an issue in the sense of thinking, if I don't. It's really weird to feel like
your
that.
Concern
I have
is not the quarry.
No, I have
it's the power that we're going to give in the commission.
Yeah. I mean, which is crazy to me that would be somehow. I don't know if that's a controversial statement.
No,
like,
it's not.
I don't think anybody's ever been like had a deep seating trust for government and been thinking, hey, they'll take this is in great hands. And I'm not even saying that I like the commissioners that I have in my district. I like both of them.
Right.
I like the majority. I like everybody that I know is a county commissioner. I'm not saying that I don't trust them, but I'm saying right now
that's a lot of power to give people.
Somebody just asked in the comments, could this act block a developer from creating a subdivision if the neighbors consider it a nuisance? I'll say this much. If you look at the wording on this, when it says, liable to detriment to the health, morals, comfort, safety, convenience, or welfare, that in some aspects, if a developer did say, hey, I want to come in and create a subdivision, that if there were people around that says, hey, that's going to mess up my comfort, that's going to mess up my convenience, all that, and they get enough commissioners to say, hey, y'all are right about that, and 16 of them say y'all are right about that, then I would assume that, and if this County Powers Act plays, then I guess they could.
Well, I don't understand why all of a sudden we need to give that group of people a specific power to do something that we as a group of people can vote on and make changes ourselves. Put it out to the whole county, not just the commissioners.
Yep. And I think and again, like I said, they recommended two different things that they want to take to the full commission, which was that now with the Thursday recommendation, the full county commission will now vote on adopting the County Powers Act as well as the quarry regulations at its April 21st meeting. Now, the question I have to look at, and Rob probably would be able to say this with a little bit more authority than I can, because he was there, he talked to everybody, and he wrote the story. He literally wrote the story on this. Are those tied together or are those separate? Right. Can we make quarry regulations without the County Powers Act, or do we have to make the County Powers Act pass to adopt quarry regulations at the same time? Because now
that's a very good question.
Because I think if we could do one without the other, I would assume that I would want to do just the one,
yeah,
not both,
right?
And without doing that, but I don't know if we have that ability to do that. I mean, that's a great question.
It is a good question.
Again, we go back to this. I just don't understand. I don't really understand how, in a lot of aspects, I've seen this, and you've seen this. You live here, you vote here. That this county, when it comes to state elections, comes to government elections, very red county.
You want the government out of your affairs.
Yeah. Hey, we just had a lot of people super excited about, but hey, man, we might potentially defund the Department of Education. Good. It's going to bring all this stuff down locally. We can do all that stuff. I get that. But then all of a sudden it's like, okay, but now you're going to put the people that are in your backyard controlling, in some aspects, your backyard. Let's tie it to this one.
And especially when it's really over one specific issue.
Yeah. And let's tie it to this. At the same time that all this is going on and we're saying, hey, we're going to let the government, they're going to take care of this for us. You got a guy in the middle of town saying, hey, the city government won't help me at all.
Boy, I heard y'all's rant about that.
Yeah, I'm over here on Lagoon Drive, and it's a lagoon. And they're not doing anything about it. Well, so now we got a group of people out in Dibble that are saying, hey, government's going to fix this for us. We got a guy in a small street in the city saying, government won't do anything to fix this for me. Man, when you step back away from it, and I'm the average Jeff. I'm like, we got a lot of conflating different things, and the one that really just kind of, it's not amusing. I would say it's amusing to me. Right. Was that we had this whole outcry and continue to have this whole outcry about what if ISHA takes over the county? I'm like, what if you make it a lot easier for them to do it if you actually are worried about that? If you actually are worried about that, the County Powers Act,
I think most people are concerned about that in the long run. And I think people should be.
Yeah, there's people that are concerned about it, and there's people that are talking about it. But at the same time, if you talk about putting a County Powers Act, if you put it on the books,
right,
and then ISHA does every nefarious thing that people continue to try to say that they're going to do, which again, I'm not saying that. I've had the people in the room here today that they weren't saying that. In fact, I had a guy sit right across from me and say, we're not really even worried about politics and local politics.
Mm-hmm.
But if they wanted to be, and the County Powers Act was in play, got a lot of power. I'd say that it says it right there in the title. Got some power.
In that vote, yes.
In that vote.
Yes.
So
we'll see how that turns out. And Nobody wants to belittle what the people in Dibble are going through and what their thought process is. The only thing that concerns me is that, in their process of trying to fix one problem, they create a whole lot bigger problem for everybody else in the county. I think what they need to do is harness their energy and focus it in a different direction of how they can solve that problem instead of giving the government a whole lot more ability to affect our lives in a bad way.
Yep. Connor Winton, he can't talk to us, but he did comment and said, I think just about everything that affects the state and county should be a referendum vote. Let the people vote.
I agree.
Connor, I
100%.
agree wholeheartly.
And it is an issue.
Yeah, it's an issue, and I think it's going to have to be talked about more. And Monday for the Simmons Says show might be a time where I got to bring Rob. I'll bring Rob in on Main Street Mondays, and we'll talk about it more. But we might need to get guests in here that can kind of shine a little bit more light on here. Maybe we can get a county commissioner in here because I want to ask at some point. I'm curious.
Are you going to enact it and then repeal it?
I would love to know that. Could we enact it, stop it, repeal it? A, was that even a thought process of it? B, how many of these county commissioners really think that they want to sign up for having that kind of power?
Yeah.
Do you want that kind of power?
The other thing that you want to know are what are the pros and cons for the people in Dibble, but what are also the pros and cons for the people in Warren County as a whole? Yeah. Those two things may not be the same thing. Obviously, they're probably not going to be. But which one is going to override the other?
Yeah. Well, what hand's leading which one?
That's exactly right,
man.
But you want the people themselves to make that decision instead of one small group of people. Say, okay, we're going to let you vote on it, and we're just going to live with whatever you vote for. Maybe if you give them all of that, they still approve the quarry.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much: everybody that keeps saying that, hey, you need to contact your commissioners, contact that. Well,
that's true.
It might not be a bad idea for me to contact my commissioners, and I always want to ask them point blank.
Right.
Do you want the power to do this? Because if you don't, then I don't want you voting for it.
Yeah.
Just very, very in my district, I don't want the county power. If you don't feel like that this is something that a county should have overall control of.
Right.
In all aspects. We're not talking about a rock quarry. You put this in, it's not a rock quarry anymore. It's every potential business and everything there. If you don't want that kind of power, or you don't think the county should have that kind of power to make that decision on all things, then it doesn't need to have that power to make it on one thing.
That's right.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So
that's just me. You don't want the whole country voting on whether there's going to be a quarry in Dibble.
No.
You don't even want the state of Tennessee voting on whether there's going to be one in Dibble.
No.
You want the people in Warren County voting on it.
The people of Warren County.
That's right.
I know that. Yep. All right. Sorry,
That's good. I'd like to see that, Jeff. I'd like to see the passion.
It's just
really good.
I just don't. I'm not hugely involved in politics. You know this. You've heard this.
Apolitical.
I'm as apolitical as they come. I don't. But when things start happening where I'm like, this county wants to go one way,
right?
And we want to put, because I've seen it. I've been sitting here watching this Republican Party push for most of the last, 9 years, 9 to 12 years.
I said 8 to 12. Yeah, I said 8 to 12.
8 to 12. Yeah. So I've seen all that push that's happened in it, and it's been growing considerably since then. But then I look in town and I'm like, well, y'all vote this one. I was like, you vote one way in state and national, but that's not how. Our representation locally, I don't think has skewed. There are some aspects that I think it's got there, but in other aspects, I don't think that's been backed up the same way. And I'm like, so what? Why do you want one way? Why do you want the nation or the state run one way, but our county potentially run a completely different way?
Oh, absolutely. You and I have talked about this as a family. We've all talked about it, and beyond that too, had several conversations, friends, relatives, whatever. People don't trust government anymore. Yeah. But in this case, we're going to vote to say, oh yeah, we trust every one of those guys to make every decision for us.
Yep, they got this.
Yeah, they got it, and we're just going to give them that power, and we're just going to go eat supper and not worry about what they say or what they want to do. It may not be what we want to do.
Yeah. I mean, again, like you said, there's all kinds of this conspiracy and nefarious thinking of other stuff. But I'm like, but all of a sudden we're putting 100% blind faith in our commission. And again, they've given me no reason to not trust them.
No,
I'm just simply saying, if that's enacted, you have to trust them.
That's right.
Because you don't really have any other choice after the fact.
That's the thing.
If I want to go, if the Simmons family, if Simmons Family Production, or
SFP,
FSP starts trying to put in some kind of business in town that someone says that we think's awesome, and somebody else says that's a nuisance. Oh no, that's gonna mess up. That's gonna mess up with the community around there.
It's morally corrupt.
Yes, morally corrupt.
Yeah,
can't believe that Simmons Family Production is going to bring in a go-kart track. Can't believe it.
Shame on
no noise ordinance.
Yeah.
That's gonna keep everybody up listening to them go-karts going, and then we can't do it. I'm like, okay, all these things that we keep saying. I wish putt course. Can we talk about putt?
Sure.
You want to talk about putt? You want to correct? Or was I wrong on my putt? We're gonna get off this, but go back to the putt story. But yeah, if we talked about this. Well, hey, we at one point, how cool would it have to be the people that own the putt course in town?
Yeah.
Because we used to go you took us there for putt
all the time.
We played up there at the Civic Center. It was like, man, it would really be cool to bring the putt course. But I don't know, man. What if people were over there and having too good of a time? Stopped it.
That's right.
But was I wrong about my putt course story, or did that absolutely happen?
That did happen. I sent you back.
Yeah.
Made you pay for another round.
I did play 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people do you think played 18 rounds and paid one time up there?
I'm sure there were plenty.
But not me.
Not you. Not that day.
Not that day. I don't think I never did it again either.
Yeah. We shouldn't have had to.
No.
Yeah.
No. You know what probably happened?
What?
I probably lost. I probably lost the first 18 and wanted to play an extra 18. No.
I can't believe that.
No, we got to go another round.
You were pretty good at math. You know how to manipulate the numbers.
Yeah. Well, they always give you those pencils with no erasers, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You think they do that on purpose? You think that?
I think they did on purpose. Yeah.
So you can't. So once you put a number down, they're like, "Hey, you can't erase it now."
Nope, not changing that.
Yeah. There were some things that we didn't get to, so we can go back to our traditional.
I don't know. I can't follow that up, man.
Yeah.
You're on a rant.
You had a couple more questions. Let's get to. We got maybe about 10 more minutes here.
10 more minutes.
Yep.
All right. Well, one of the things I was going to ask you about is how many offices you have now.
Oh man,
you said you would have 4.
Connor's saying 6 now. I don't know. It grows. It grows by the day.
Okay, I was talking to my agent this week. And we were wondering if maybe you could convert one of those offices to a green room.
You need a green room?
Yeah, I need a green room.
Yeah.
I need somebody to do hair and makeup for me before I come out here.
You and all my guests would probably love that.
Yeah, probably would. Yeah, but see, the thing my agent said, I need to demand all orange M&Ms.
Oh.
But I can't decide what flavor. Do you know how many flavors of M&Ms there are now? It used to be what? Regular and peanut M&M. Yeah. Now they got peanut butter and jelly. They got crispy M&Ms. They got everything in an M&M.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I need to work on getting a green room because I need to come in, get prepared for the show, so I can perform at my best. Without a green room, I just feel rushed when I get in here.
Ryan Tackett points out, he said, you're wanting a green room for hair and makeup. And Ryan says, Jeff doesn't even get his hair done. That's not, yeah.
Well, the green room is for the guests,
it's
not
for
the
host.
host.
Not for the host. The host.
Now, he has 6 offices.
Yeah. Well, apparently, of those 6 offices, 2 of them was the fact that Connor just pointed out that apparently I've claimed both the bathrooms.
Well, I don't want my green room in the bathroom, but I would like a bathroom in the green room.
Okay. Well, we'll work on that.
Because remember, we have to, what?
What's that? We
pee.
Gotta pee.
That's right. Got to pee before every show.
The pee method has to be in place.
That's
before
right.
We go through on there. Yeah, I could talk. I'll talk to some people. I mean, hey, you said that you got the agent. Maybe your agent needs to go through there.
That's what I'll do. I'll send my agent over.
Adam asked, "What does the bourbon stock look like in the green room?" Great question. Hey, we're in OT, but
Oh, we are?
We are in OT, so
Okay, well, then it's going to be heavily stocked because if I have to, I'll stock it myself.
Connor, we're gonna get more guests, man.
Yeah, but what kind of shape are they going to be in when they get on air?
They'll be. Hey, I tell you what, they'll be entertaining.
That's right. They'll be, uninhibited in their opinion.
Our whole show will have to be the OT.
That's what you do. Bring your people in, sit them in the green room, and then just bring them in for OT.
I'll do the hour.
Yeah. You'll have an hour, and then you do the OT.
My guests are coming in on OT.
That'd be perfect.
Ron Tackett says I vote for the green room. Maybe we just call the OT the green room, and we move locations to the green room.
Open a bar and call it the green room. I wonder if people would get that.
I don't know, man. Hey, great. Hey, Main Street Media is always looking for new ways to expand. Maybe they want to just start calling us something in here, the green room. Make these walls green, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah, we'll have to make it soundproof too.
Yeah.
But yes, my agent says we need a green room, so I don't know by next Friday. Well, not next Friday's Good Friday, so you won't be on the air, will you?
Why would I not be on there?
Huh?
Good Friday.
It is Good Friday.
I don't know. I'm looking at Connor, but I'm going to go ahead and say that we're going to be on the radio on Good Friday.
Well, then it'll be a great Friday.
He shook his. He's saying no. Maybe not.
Well, I think I heard them talking about it on Town Talk this morning that they weren't going to be here Friday. So I don't know. I don't know your schedule.
I don't know.
I am available.
Hey, I'm learning my schedule as I go right now. Apparently, I might not be on Friday. I don't know.
You're excited to get a day off, or do you have to pre-record?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't think so either.
I'd rather come in and live than pre-record. Connor said he'd do the show if it needed to.
Well, there you go. We'll leave you some cannoli, Connor.
All right. Any other pressing issues that we need to get to?
Well, the one question that you brought up the other day about are you too old to have Facebook friends that you don't know? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking to myself, is a person a friend, even a Facebook friend, if you don't know them? If it's somebody you don't know, you're going to call them a friend?
No.
Or is a Facebook friend a different definition than a friend?
That's oh man. See, this is why we bring you on every Friday because I don't think you could. They're a Facebook friend in the sense that that's what they're all called on here. But you can't be somebody's friend if you don't know them.
Well, should they be called something else? My Facebook acquaintance.
Well, there is now that there's people that'll click on it and it says that so-and-so's now following you. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe I have Facebook followers.
Yeah. Well, so I'm not on Facebook, so you'll probably have to explain that whole thing to me.
Yeah.
You said that there's a difference between a follower and a friend.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Well, the king of Main Street has his followers now.
The king of the morning radio.
Yeah, I have followers.
See, because as a king, you can do like the county commission if you give them the Powers Act.
Oh mercy!
Yeah,
I don't think you want to. I don't think you want.
You may have a clash.
The Clash of Kings.
Yeah, that's right. The Game of Thrones here.
Oh no! You have to assemble the head of the five families.
That's right.
Don Simmons 2028. Don Simmons 2028. Make the green room great again. Says Ryan Tack in the comments.
That'd be a great name for a bar, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's not the worst one.
The green room.
The boardroom was the one that we threw out too. Hey,
I like that.
Hey, I got a meeting at the boardroom.
Yeah.
I'll be home later.
That's right. I've kept that now. I probably should find some way to legally tie myself to that, but I think that'd be a great name for a bar, the boardroom.
Yeah, the conference room, anything like that.
That's right.
Hey, I gotta go to the conference room.
Yeah, I'm sorry, honey. I'm going to be late tonight. I got to go to the boardroom. It's an important meeting.
Yep, important meeting.
Yes, it is. The latest bottle of Jack Daniels just came out, so I've got to go down there, see what's going on.
Yeah. All right.
Am I supposed to say that on air?
Like I said, we're in OT.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just don't want to give them a free plug like they need it.
Yeah. Ain't no free shout outs. Come on, now. Right. Be better.
I'm just really worried about Buffalo Trace being on water right now. That's been a
we can give an actual plug instead of a free plug though. But I mean, I think all the stuff that you're talking about you could probably get some of that stuff over there at the well at Tree City.
Oh yes. You
which
can.
I also believe is
Absolutely.
located at 809 Sparta Street. Instead of
Local business.
going in and taking a right, you got to go in and take a left and walk down to the well, which I think is open in the afternoons. So.
Or like all of us old people, you can park across at the Social Security Administration building and walk over. You can tell everybody, well, yeah, I just went down to the Social Security office. Got to check on my Social Security. No, I'm spending all of it over at the well.
All right, we're about to wrap it up. Is there
All
any
right.
other big pressing questions you want to get to before we sign off?
Nothing big. We're going to talk about coaches.
Oh,
but that can we say that for another show? Because you could probably do an hour on coaching. I know you and Solon's talked about it for probably 20 or 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Trev has some good takes in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. The funny thing about it is that everybody, I see that and people are talking about it, and I was like, man, if I knew what a great coach was, I would be a lot better coach right now.
Oh, you're already a pretty good coach, Jeff. You don't give yourself enough credit. I think those young ladies hang on every word.
Sometimes.
And judging by what's on your phone there, I'd say they think a lot of you.
Oh, yeah. The phone case.
They think you look like Nick Cage.
I don't think that's what they were going for, but sure.
It's the hair.
Yeah. That wasn't a compliment at all.
Not really. No.
All right. Dad, love you. Thanks
Love
for
you
coming
too,
in.
man.
If we're here next Friday, we'll have Father and Son time. If we're off for Good Friday, then we'll probably bring you back in 2 weeks. But man, I appreciate it.
Probably. This sounds like the green room.
Well, no, it's more
I
like
negotiated myself out of a job.
No,
here.
more so is like if I'm still on the air in 2 weeks, you never know. Yeah.
I need to talk to my agent. She's
Court
talked me
Ward
out of a
says
job.
Con Air Nick Cage. Yeah. The long.
With that southern accent.
Put the bunny back in the box. All right. Love you, Dad. We'll be back on the Simmons Says show on Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., WBMC 97.7 FM. Thank you all so much for joining us today. And thanks for sticking around for OT.
Yeah.
I ain't got no